get everyone checked in. So looks like we have someone in the yellow shirt there, Al Vance the third. I'll need you to unmute if you could. As I call your name, if you could go ahead and unmute and give me your full name and tell me who you're representing here today, or what your interest is in the application. So Al Vance, if you could unmute.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
Yeah,
could you give me your full name?
It muted itself automatically. I'm Al Vance. I'm on Upper Grandin 2590. So we're above the property here. And
okay.
I really only have one question when we get into it.
Sure. I'll go through our whole procedure here. For now, just going to check everyone in and make sure everyone's equipment is working properly. I see we have Abigail Marker.
Yes, I'm Abigail Marker. We are also on neighboring property on the top, Grandin Place. So kind of like catty corner to this property.
Okay, great, welcome. I will just keep folks on mute as I'm going through some of these other things. So I got you already, Mr. Vance. See, we have Alex Stillpass. Is Alex Stillpass present?
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks very much. I'm above the property, and actually, I'm the one who actually assembled the lots to, I'm sure, David, you recall.
That does sound familiar. Mr. Stillpass, are you going to provide any testimony here today?
Only when I feel it's necessary. I mean, I really don't have any prepared remarks. I mean, I'm here just for information purposes, only background. And I mean, I think I know the property probably better than anybody on the phone.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's no problem. And you said you are a neighbor, right? You have a neighboring property?
Yeah, I'm actually I actually abut the property.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm actually abutted the property with a panhandle to the right as you're looking at the property from north to south onto the right and behind. Okay,
great. If and when you do testify at that time, I'd ask you to activate your camera. I just want to give you a heads up that you may be on camera in the near future. If you do want to testify, I'll just give people a heads up. But we'll see you then. It looks like we have a Spile KP or Spill KP.
Yeah, this is Keith Spiller.
Okay. Could you spell your last name for me?
Sure, it's Spiller.
Okay.
And I am a member of the LLC that owns the property at issue.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Spiller, are you expecting anyone else to join us here today?
Yeah, I think Noah Shore, who is with our builder, is joining, but I think no one else from the LLC will join.
Okay. Looks like we have Noah here, or Noah attempting to connect to audio. So Mr. Schroyer, if you could unmute for me. Hi, Mr. Schroyer. Noah, are you there? Noah Schroyer, are you there? Trying to join us here.
Can you hear me?
I can.
I apologize. I'm having some very frustrating technical issues on my side here.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Understood. Okay. There you are. Noah, could you, you're with Jose Garcia Design, is that right?
Yeah, my name is Noah Schroyer. I'm an architect with Jose Garcia Design and Construction and the project manager for 2905 Lower Grandin.
Okay, great. let's see, on the applicant owner side, are we expecting anyone else to join us here today before we begin?
Not that I am expecting, no. Looks like everyone I was expecting is currently in attendance.
Okay, great. Looks like we have someone named P. Marsh that's attempting to join. Could the individual under P. Marsh, could they please, or P. March, could they please unmute? Hi, P. Marsh, could you give me your name and who you're representing here today? Okay, we will give them an opportunity to try to log in here, but let's go ahead and get started. I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll go ahead and jump into it. So this is the August 23rd, 2023 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. Again, I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the City of Cincinnati, and I'll preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20230133. This is 2905 Lower Grandin. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the Zoning Hearing Examiner. All testimony or evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. Excuse me. Anyone from the public will then have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. I will give the zoning plans examiner, Trey Sheldon, who's also with us here today, an opportunity to provide any testimony in addition to his staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers arguments in opposition to this application, the applicant will then have an opportunity to respond to those arguments that were offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. Excuse me. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. May limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I will do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, the last thing I need to do here before we get started is to swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, making any comments, asking any questions, really doing anything other than just strictly observing, then the zoning code requires that I swear you in. If you're not certain yet whether you want to testify, I can always swear you in later, but if you know you would like to say something, please go ahead and take yourself off of mute. I need everyone to raise their right hand and to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Yes,
Yes.
I do.
All right. Thanks, everyone. All right. Who will be taking the lead here on the presentation
Hey, David, very quickly,
for this application?
David, if you don't mind, just very quickly by way of disclosure, Alex and I went to grade school together. Alex still knows that is, and I hope all's been well with you these past many decades. But I just wanted to disclose that, and he and I have had no communication about this matter whatsoever. So I just wanted to say
Okay.
on a personal.
Thanks. Yep, absolutely. Appreciate that disclosure, Trey, and that'll be noted for the record. Okay, so Mr. Schroyer, will you be taking the lead on the presentation here?
I will, yes. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Sure. The floor is yours whenever you're ready.
Very good. Appreciate that. Let's see. Do you all see my PDF being shared currently?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So again, my name is Noah Schroyer, an architect at Jose Garcia Design and Construction, and the project manager for this project at 2905 Lower Grandin. We are respectfully requesting relief from 1433-19G, the 8-foot permitted of cut fill requirement, as adhering to it would make the site unviable for construction. Just a quick look at the existing conditions in the survey here. The property is located just south of Lower Grandin between two vacant panhandle lots. This panoramic here shows looking from Lower Grandin south to the site. It's currently a vacant property. The neighboring property to the west, 2869 Lower Grandin, is its top plateau, while the neighbor to the east, 2929 Lower Grandin, makes use of various retaining walls to site the house into the hillside and work with their driveway. Our proposed project is for a new single-family dwelling. It makes use of black brick with white stone and metal accents. Is a contemporary style single-story ranch with a basement walkout. The foundation is designed to step up and work with the existing hillside. The portion of the property on the left half of the screen here would be over a basement, and the foundation would then step up to over a crawl space on the right side here. The graphic on your screen now demonstrates the maximum building envelope. The red hatched area shows the area permitted to build. The setbacks come from the underlying SF20 district, as there are no structures on the adjacent lots to do setback averaging. These two cuts here, one through the basement area and one through the crawl space area, will also show conformance to the building envelope in the section. So you can see we're well within the height over in the basement area and as well as over the crawl space area. Here you can also see foundation stepping to work with the hill. This is looking from the street back to the front of the house. We have a low profile design with various areas of recess to visually break up the massing. We kept a lower profile since we're at the toe of the hill. We didn't want to detract too much from the ascension of the hillside. Here you can see hints of some of the minor grading that happens at this instance of the elevation. This is at the rear of the house in the south. You can, again, pick up instances of the stepping to work with the progression of the hill. There are some small garden walls to permit some windows, though they are minor in height. We have avoided rooftop utilities as well. For the project, we've worked extensively with our geotech engineer in the design for the foundations, and also for a pier and plug wall on the site directly to the south of the house shown here. And this is done to stabilize the hillside. What I was showing here was the conformance letter from our geotech demonstrating that we adhere to their recommendations. So overall, we took great care and consideration in designing the house to work with the hill, avoiding any cliff-like cuts, essentially designing the house to fit the hillside as best as possible, and minimizing excavation to what is essentially the minimum for the below grade level here on the basement side, the crawl space level, and the driveway from the street. So the cut fill requirement, the interpretation cited in the denial letter would essentially look at the lowest grade of disturbance, the highest grade of disturbance, and accumulate the sum total that way. Under this interpretation, excuse me, starting the intervention at 636 for the driveway, essentially allow disturbance up to 644, which would result in only the shaded area here being buildable under that interpretation. So in the sum total of 33 cumulative feet of disturbance, we feel that it can be broken down into three areas. The disturbance at the driveway and the curb cuts, the cut for the house itself, and then the dirt work behind the house. The dirt work for the driveway is relatively minor and only occurs at a quarter of the site. As you see here, the grading is maintained on the eastern half of that front area. If you establish 640 as the 0 for the cut for the house, the shaded area here in red shows the portion of the house that would exceed 8 foot cumulative. And at the rear of the house here, there's a flat gathering area established and then minor grading to maintain a 3-1 slope for stability purposes. These two cuts here will show the same proposed grading information in section. And then one final point, the tallest cut for the house itself is approximately 10 feet and only occurs in this area here at the back of the basement. Following to the first slope profile cut to the basement area, you can see the existing grade in the dashed line and the proposed grade in the solid line. Very minimal disturbance outside of the actual cut for the house itself. This is the 10-foot cut that was touched on earlier. And this other slope profile cut through the crawl space of the house shows some more minor dirt work downslope from the house. Placement of the crawl space done in a way that balances the cut and fill for that portion. Here you can see the below grade pier and plug wall that will serve as the hillside stabilizing. It's entirely below grade. Here's the future gathering area in the rear of the house, and then the dirt work to and from it to maintain a 3-1 slope for stability purposes. And in closing, the project overall meets the letter of the majority of the code requirements, asking for relief for the cut fill specifics, but meeting the spirit of the idea of a development hillside working in harmony with the hill and with the neighborhood itself.
Okay. Thank you. I don't think I have any questions right now. I think I'll wait and we'll hear from the public first, unless Mr. Spiller wanted to add anything from the ownership side.
No, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity though.
Sure. Okay. We'll go up to Mr. Vance. Mr. Vance, you have to unmute. Did you want to add anything?
Yes, I really only had one question. I did talk to Alex Stillpass, who is my next door neighbor, contiguous property. And on Upper Grandin, there is I don't know if we want to call it a culvert, a runoff, or a creek or whatever, but we have an area that has water most of the time. And I just want to make sure that where it goes into Lower Grandin, that there's no possible impact on the drainage from that culvert, which would cause water to back up or anything else like that. We're way down, we're way above, so it's not going to back up into my house, but I don't, I'm a little concerned about additional erosion on the creek per se. So I have heard, I did talk to Alex earlier. He had said that is far east of the where the house is, but I don't know what work is planned for there, Jose. And that's really my only issue. I do believe where the house is going, I mean, the grade is not that strong, so I don't think there should be there's no impact on the hillside erosion or anything that I see. I'm just concerned about that creek.
Okay, Mr. Schroyer, did you want to respond to that?
Yes, so that is a great point you made, and we're working extensively with our geotechnical engineers to ensure that there is no disturbance beyond our project property. That is another point for the importance of the pier and plug wall being implemented. That actually will go in first. Those drilled piers will go subterranean, and that will stabilize the hill so that any disturbance downhill from that wall will not have any rippling effect uphill. So there should be no outward disturbance from the work that we are performing on our site.
Okay. I guess I'm still off mute. Yeah, it's again, believe, I was told yesterday that the actual property line is 70 foot from my property. So, I mean, that's a substantial distance, but I'm just, I'm just worried about continued erosion on that, the creek, for lack of a better word. So.
If I guess if I may tack on a little extra there. Yeah, so in addition to the pier and plug wall, once the project is complete, we will have a full landscape plan so that at the surface level and below the surface level, there will be no supplemental siltation or erosion as a result from our work.
Is there any disturbance of that creek that's going to be graded or anything else like that, or is it far to the east of any of the construction and the driveway?
I believe it's farther east than our disturbance in our property.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vance, for your questions. I'm just trying to get a visual on.
It's actually west. You guys are, I mean, it's the drainage is actually west, and it comes between the Vance property and my property. So it runs down there, and then
let me try to, sorry, Mr. Stillpass. And we might as well just go right into any of your testimony or commentary, and then Ms. Marker, I'll come to you next. This is just a Google satellite on top. This is, I believe, approximately where the subject property is. Mr. Stillpass, or
so
Mr.
to the left of
Vance.
that, to the left of that. So if you that, so my property is at the top right here. I guess you can't see me circling, but it's right above your arrow. So if you move your arrow, no, the other way, right? Yeah, no, that's
Hey,
parents'
David,
house.
this
Could
is
just-
Trey. I'm
Just
actually,
keep going around till I hit it.
No, there, that's
hey,
me.
David, if you do the
Okay,
topography,
got
if you do the topography layer on Cages, you would completely see exactly where this is.
Yes.
Where to do do the terrain on this. If you're sticking with
Yeah.
this one, where the layers is, do terrain.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's not working, but it's
Oh,
fine. I'm just, I mean, is this it right here?
Yes, that's essentially it. Right.
Got
So
it.
it's to the west, not to the east. Right. So the property the creek runs south north. Right. And so the creek runs down to an open culvert opening that goes underneath the surface of the between the panhandle, my panhandle, and Trey and the Heekin property, which is to the east, to the west of me, right? So that's that question mark driveway down there at the bottom. So it's to the right of that. It's to the right of that question mark driveway, and then to the left of my property. So it sort of runs out. It's in no way, shape, or form going to be impacted by anything that the spillers are doing to the property from what the drawings show, from what Noah just showed up.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
If I can just interject,
you-
I had thought it was to the east. So it's there's a lot of woods back there, and couldn't really follow it and know exactly where it went to. So I couldn't tell from the PDF they sent out. So no, I can see that now that you brought that map up.
Looking at site plans, Alice, I'm sure not something you do every day.
Now, some of this,
Okay.
they just weren't detailed enough, and the camera shots didn't take in the whole property per se, so I couldn't exactly figure out where it was. So.
Gotcha.
All right,
Okay.
I emailed,
Okay.
Mr. Vance, I emailed you my staff report. You can look at figure 2 of that. It's got a topographic figure on it that shows the property lines. And I think if you looked at that figure 2 of that that document that I emailed to you, it would be pretty clear. It shows exactly where that creek goes, and it goes right along the left side of their left or west, I mean, the right or west side of the subject property.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, we have identified the creek. Hold on, Mr. Vance, hold on. We got to get back in order here. Mr. Stillpass, what would you like to tell me, if anything at all?
That's
Other
it.
than the
I mean,
location of the creek.
Yeah, the location of the creek was a key element there. Other than that, I mean, I have no issues with what they're doing.
You told me that you know more about this property than anyone else.
It's been in my family. It was in my family for 40 years.
Do you think that the requested relief is appropriate for the site?
Totally appropriate and totally reasonable.
Okay, great. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Stillpass. I appreciate your testimony. Thanks for being here. Ms. Marker, would you like to tell me anything?
Hi, no, I have no questions after seeing the documents. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thanks for being here. It looks like P. March may have joined us here. Still don't know.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't equipped with a camera or a microphone earlier, so I found one. I'm the immediate neighbor to the east
Okay.
subject property, so I don't have any questions either. I just wanted to see.
To observe. Sure.
Mhm.
Okay, great. All right, I think that's everyone from the public. Trey, what would any testimony in addition to your staff report?
First, I just start off by thanking Noah for working with me so well. He really did a great job of graphically showing what we like to be able to see. I think it makes it easier for you, especially David, and for members of the public, such as neighbors, to be able to see literally what's being constructed. As Noah indicated, this does utilize drilled piers, which are not subject to the hillside review because they aren't really considered excavation, but those things are going all the way down to bedrock to help hold up anything in the back of the property. They do not require mass excavation to do, so those are going to go in first to make sure that the hillside is completely locked in and held down to bedrock, and then subsequently the house will be put in. As indicated and as seen, the house is very low slung. It has a lower level garage, something we discussed in an earlier hearing that can really lend itself to hillside because then you can step part of the rest of the house as they've done in this. And that was mentioned, the rest of the house, other than that garage and some basement space with some windows, the rest of it is only utilizes a crawl space. So there's quite a big step. If you, David, if you look at any of those elevation drawings, you'll be able to tell that, a good portion of the house is actually only barely below grade. So it's only as you get down toward the garage and back behind the garage that you end up having, I think he mentioned about 10 feet. You have about 2 feet of exceeding as far as just being able to get an 8-foot basement. The walls as well are very modest. Those are kind of landscape walls that also are stepped into the hillside, sort of terraced. And those simply allow the side of the house, kind of a form follows function thing. Those allow both the egress door next to the garage door and also some windows for light to be able to get into the basement. And those are very modestly stepped. I think they're all about 3 or 4 feet in height, maybe 3 feet exposed. Noah's nodding his head, so I think probably in the ballpark there. Basically, the design is almost perfectly, fit into the hillside. I think the grading, David, if there's anything that you look at after the, hearing to kind of review this as you weigh your decision or as writing it, I think that grading plan that Noah did, it's figure 3 site and grading plan in my staff report. That really tells the whole story of this insofar as really a lot of this grading is very, very minimal. They're just trying to hit that 3-1 magic number that the civil engineers recommended. And there's some kind of feathering of the hillside up behind a little bit of flat area in the back for gathering space. But it's no more than a couple of feet there of change. So basically, if you're looking at that, you're going to see how minimal the change is from the proposed grade, which is in solid lines, from the existing grade, which is shown in the hatched or dashed lines. And you'll see that some of it, it's very minimal other than the house itself. So this is not a project where there's a whole lot of any particular excavation and fill. It's just that because it's cumulative across the lot from the southeast corner to the northwest corner, it adds up to a big number, but it is in fact very minimal grading. The minimum you could really have to have a driveway and a house here. So it's one of the better design projects I've ever seen in the wholesale.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you, Trey, for your testimony and for your staff report. Okay, we'll go back to Mr. Schroyer. Anything you'd like to say in response to any comments from the public or anything in closing or otherwise before we adjourn?
I don't believe I have anything further to add.
Okay. We'll leave it at that then. I have had a chance to review the application materials here and the staff report. Based on that presentation by Mr. Schroyer and the additional testimony that I've heard here today, I am going to approve the requested relief. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning of the hearing that typically takes about 2 weeks. I'll do everything I can to get that out to you as soon as possible. As soon as I finish that written decision, I put it into a PDF. I'll email a copy of that to everybody who's in the hearing here today, so that you all have a copy of that after it's complete. And so you all have a copy really just moments after the decision is complete and finalized. Mr. Schroyer, as soon as you have that, Trey can approve the permitting, and hopefully you can move forward on the project at that time.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Sure. Any questions about any of that right now?
No,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Sure. If you do have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me. I'm sure Trey would be happy to answer questions as well. Or if you'd like a status update on the decision, just reach out to me directly. I'll let you know where I'm at. Thanks, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful day. Good luck with the project. Looks like a beautiful home. We are adjourned.
Thank you.